wins every day. So if you compete on Friday or Saturday, you build up quality sessions, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what have you. But you do that over a long period of time, where you come to the point where you feel really comfortable in those situations. You trust yourself, you trust your body that you're going to be able to perform in that particular instance when it might seem to matter most, right? So how else do we build confidence besides building up quality practice sessions, visualization and imagery? So another component to that is, thinking about a time when, to help with your confidence, you were performing at your peak level, your MVP level, whatever that is for you. And when you're performing at that level, how did you feel? What did you think? What was your body doing at that time? And you start believing, or you start thinking about those times where you did have successes throwing. And it's not something that you just think about at the meet at that time. It's something that you have to think about in practice over a long period of time. It's not a quick fix when we talk about mental imagery and visualization techniques and what have you. It really does take a little bit of work to be able to get to that level where you're not just going to turn on the switch before the competition and voila, we're there. All right, so those are two tips about building, trying to enhance your body language and how to carry yourself at competition. The other piece had to do with like the gear and the materials that you had. So for table tennis, having the right table tennis equipment was also an indicator to your competition that they should be fearful or intimidated, or that they reported that they were fearful or intimidated because of how the athletes looked. So in track and field, at the D3 level, I think 99.9% of everybody has throwing shoes. Hammer weight gloves can be different, how people tape their wrists, their fingers, but you can carry yourself in a certain way that projects confidence, that projects, wow, people are going to pay attention to that, and that, anecdotal intimidation before warm-ups. For some it might work, for others it might not. I've seen it happen both ways, where throwers hit big marks in warm-ups, and it kind of puts the competition on alert, and then a thrower hits a huge mark in the competition, basically replicating or far surpassing the throw that they had before, and the competition really isn't able to respond. But I've also seen on the other side, big throws in warm-ups don't necessarily lead to big throws in competition. Poor throws in warm-ups can lead to big throws in competition. So it's going to be different for everybody. But I just thought that was interesting about body language, what the research suggests in the sports psychology literature when it comes to how we carry ourselves. Now, if she held her head up, if she felt a little bit more confident in her ability to throw in that particular moment, could the outcome have been different? Maybe. But we will never know now. And when they released the list for nationals, the two athletes that were tied for 17th, one of the athletes is going to nationals, and the theory, or what I got from the coach when I asked them, how they decided, was that the other thrower hit their mark first earlier in the season. Even though the other thrower's second, third, fourth, fifth best marks were better, they hit their mark earlier in the season, which they think is why the other athlete is going and not his athlete. So that's it for body language. It's a really interesting dichotomy. It's really interesting, when we look at those types of situations, how athletes perform in competition, and how they carry themselves on the exterior, and how that can influence competitions. We talked about a couple of strategies in regards to celebrating small wins. There's always a silver lining in practice. And to all my athletes, there's always something that you can garner from your practice. There's always something that you can learn from and build upon. That's a win for the day. And mental imagery, thinking back to times when you were performing at your best, your peak performances, what that felt like, what that sounded like, how your body felt, and you try and replicate those feelings in competition to give yourself a little bit of a confidence boost, because you have performed well at one time. You did hit a particular mark. You were competing well under pressure. That should help alleviate some of those body language issues that you might have in competition. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Inferna, and have a great day.